Whatever the occasion, effortless elegance is right this way. Because Hilton brings you new ways to stay courtesy of the Nomad London. And it doesn't stop at award-winning dining in a space draped in velvet and illuminated by vintage chandeliers. No, this day goes beyond with unparalleled personalized service and attentive hospitality. Oh, and did we mention the Nomad London can be booked using your Hilton Honors points at Hilton.com? Hilton, for the stay.
So, you just started using LinkedIn Premium. Now what? Well, on your premium company page, you noticed around 7.5 times more page engagement and 5 times more page views. Well done. And now, new clients are messaging you. All because you're using LinkedIn Premium, which helps you get the business growth you want. Think big, small business. Think big. Start your free trial at linkedin.com/premium small business. That's linkedin.com/premium small business.
They fooled me, we can't get fooled again.
In Dallas, Texas, 3 shots were fired at President Kennedy's motorcade in downtown Dallas.
December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy.
You don't know what you're talking about, do you, sir?
Because people have got to know whether or not their president's a crook. Well, I'm not a crook. I've earned everything I've got. If you don't like what we tell you to believe in, we'll kill you.
All right, kids. Listen. Don't listen to this podcast.
Don't listen to this.
If you're not of age.
What's of age?
18.
So 16?
18. We're a bunch of dudes, and we're going to say some really bad words.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Conspiracy Podcast.
Another week, another time.
Yeah.
Here we are again.
It's Tuesday for you.
And as we do, if you don't know me, my name's Eric.
And this is Jorge.
And I'm Sean. What's up, guys?
Hope you're doing well. This is an episode. If you don't know, we have a Patreon. And our Patreon has certain levels of people
like
who
tiers.
support. Yeah, they're tiers of people that support us. In the top tier,
elite.
yes, is called the rich person status. This is the elite of all. They look down on people.
This is sophisticated.
Yes.
Sophisticated connoisseur.
These are the thousandaires, the millionaires, the thousandaires. No, they're generally people who've listened to our entire catalog that like we have a rapport with, and they want to support the show as much as they can. And a perk of the rich person status is they get to select their very own topic.
And we have to do it unless it's insane.
Yeah.
We won't
we'll judge it.
Yeah.
We'll judge
we haven't declined one yet.
So this episode is brought to you by Brandon V. He's been a VIP for a bit now, and he wanted us to do the episode on the Big Bang Theory.
And we're coming at you live.
So we put this together, and again, huge shout out to Brandon V.
Love you so much.
Thank you so much for your support. Honestly, the rich people, really,
All of you guys, yeah.
I mean, just imagine like the U.S. economy and like who the top 1%.
They're like the top. They're like the 1% of our fans.
Yeah. I think there's some crazy stat like the top 1% pays 80% of the taxes.
Yeah,
it's kind of like that in our
it's
kind of like that on our Patreon. So, anyways. Big shout out, Brandon. Thank you, buddy. We appreciate it. So we're going to kick off this episode with a little bit of a mind blow.
And also, like, we just want to, quick disclaimer. If you already know about the Big Bang Theory, sorry. We're going to explain it because we do this every fucking episode. Every single time we do this. So it's not a new thing. If this is your first episode you're ever listening to, we always give a little backstory. It's just how we have set up the podcast.
Yeah, that's right. And, when I was looking into this, I knew what the Big Bang Theory was, in a very short...
Yeah, like
a generalized thing.
But
Big boomer!
Yeah. But it doesn't mean I knew a lot about it.
No.
So I hope the same is...
Yeah, maybe you learn a little bit, maybe a little nugget.
So the first thing we're going to do is kind of just to put everything into perspective because it's a bit of a deep episode, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's very deep. It's like the origins of the universe.
So the first part I put together like how big is the universe?
Okay.
So we'll do a little exercise.
Well, there's like the whole thing of like the observable universe and
Right.
then the universe.
yeah,
itself.
true.
So it's like, how big is it?
So imagine the sun is the size of a basketball.
Got it.
Yeah. On that scale, so the scale is the basketball is the sun, which is
Massive.
Massive, yeah. Earth would be a tiny piece of corn. And that would roughly be 26 feet away from the sun. Yeah?
In that scale.
In that scale.
Okay.
Yeah. The moon, just a grain of sand a few inches from the earth. Jupiter would be a marble 140 feet away.
And Jupiter's massive.
Okay. Pluto, a speck of dust nearly a quarter mile away.
Oh, wow. Holy shit.
Yeah. Now,
Wow.
here's the crazy part. To reach the next closest star, which is Proxima Centauri, you'd have to walk 4,000 miles to get to it,
Okay.
Damn.
What the fuck? Like,
which is
Okay.
basically the United States.
Yeah, it's like
You'd have to
walk
walk
to
the United
California.
States, right? This is all on scale. And that's just our neighborhood.
yeah, that's just 2 stars. It's literally 2 stars. The sun and another star.
The Milky Way has hundreds of billions of those stars.
The Milky Way is also
Jeez.
like 100 million light years wide. It's like,
And we've come to find that there are actually trillions of galaxies beyond it.
yes, it's just infinite. It's like an infinite scale.
That we know of. Yeah,
So
trillions.
we don't know,
Jeez.
like
It's infinite scaling.
Like just
There's actually a cool picture. This is what really put things into perspective for me when I was a kid. I was like in a library and I was looking at this. There's a book called like The Universe.
yeah.
I was like, oh, cool, check it out. There's literally a picture from, I think it was from the Hubble telescope, and it's a picture of, there's so many galaxies in the picture that it literally warps the light. So the picture literally is like reflected on, like the picture is just a reflection of itself, like in a circle, because there's so much gravity that it literally warped the light. So it's just like an infinite scale. I was like, what the fuck?
It's so mind-blowing.
It's like, how is that even possible? How does it even work? Like, it's crazy.
So we're gonna get deep, and there's this lot of it's hard to put together, but hopefully we can explain it and try to go over it, and it's not that confusing. But so
it
the
will
whole
be confusing.
Yeah. Even
Fair
for
warning.
us.
Yeah, fair warning. I'm confused already.
But so imagine for a moment that we could rewind the universe. Not just a few years, not just a few centuries, but all the way back before humans, before planets,
Yeah, before it all.
before everything, before light itself. So then the question is what was the beginning?
Yeah, I mean, it's already weird that if you think about the concept of space, it's already weird.
Yeah.
It's like, cool. Okay, I can get behind it. Planets, yeah, got it. Hell yeah. Planets, baby.
Yeah.
And you're like, but what are they in?
Mm-hmm.
They're just in nothing.
No,
You're
yeah.
literally just
Just
floating
floating
around
around.
in nothing.
Didn't we? And I think we did it in the time travel
We did,
episode
yeah,
or
we did.
something. Like we went like, what happened before humans?
Well, no, I was like, I would go back to the
Yeah,
origin.
no, that was yours.
That was like,
Yes,
I'll go back
yes.
to the origin.
So even go like, I know we kind of touched on it, but like okay, so humans are just like a blip. Like a blip.
Yeah, tiny.
So go back before planets, go back before everything, go back before the creation of light. And then that's the question is what was the beginning?
Yeah.
And that's what this episode is. The
Okay.
Big Bang Theory. The answer, according to most widely accepted scientific theory, is the Big Bang. That there was a Big Bang. Now, it's not a typical bang like a firework or explosion that you would think of, but rather the name of when the universe began. And everything we know from stars to atoms to you reading this sentence right now or listening to us talk started to exist. And this is the story of that beginning.
Okay.
Yeah? Long ago,
In a galaxy far, far away.
roughly, and this is pretty much agreed upon by everybody,
I don't know how they came up with this fucking number, though.
13.8 billion years ago.
It seems actually
to be
it
specific.
seems a little low
Yeah.
in my estimation.
Yeah.
So
I don't know anything, by the way.
And by the way, on the research of this, I bought a college course lecture.
You're trying to get some credits?
No, I mean, yeah, and actually, you can go buy these documentaries. They're $2.99 each, and there's a lecture by a professor. He's like a physicist.
Eric, are you going to ruin this podcast where it's going to be like it's going to be 2 dudes, 2 high school diplomas, and 1 college graduate?
No. I'm not saying I like understood any of it. Yeah, but I'm just saying there's some cool stuff that you could dive into if you wanted to go even further.
Okay.
And, like these guys are legit.
Yeah,
honestly.
I'm not diving that further.
Okay, so 13.8 billion years ago, there was no space, no time, no matter, no energy, just a nothingness. At least that's the best word that we have for it because we don't know any other word.
No fucking clue.
Not even the vacuum of space, which is still something. So it was before that. So this was the true nothingness. Some scientists call it a singularity. And then in an instant that defies logic and explanation, and what we're going to try to get to the bottom to tonight, nothing became
something.
Everything and something. Yeah, exactly. How? That's the $1 million question. But what we do know is this, that from this singularity, the universe exploded into being. Space and time burst forth. Energy raced outward. Temperatures were so hot that atoms couldn't even form. And this is what they call the Big Bang.
See, I might be like jumping the gun here.
Yeah.
Probably because that's what I do. But it's so funny how like this is the widely agreed upon theory.
Yes.
This is like everyone agrees with this. And then also like obviously everyone, well, not everyone, most scientists agree with most of Einstein's theories.
Yeah.
His theories of relativity, his theories of but there's a theory of conservation of energy. So this is one thing that I have always kind of subscribed to. And the conservation of energy theory is that energy can't be created or destroyed. It can only be transferred.
Okay.
So same thing with like all matter is matter and energy are kind of synonymous with each other because there's an inherent energy that is in matter because obviously there's atoms, vibration. It's like there's energy happening in matter. But if they all agree with Einstein on that, the theory then is like, okay, the Big Bang, if energy can't be created or destroyed, you're saying that all of the energy of the universe was in one single point and then just spread out. So in essence, it wasn't created, it was just broken apart and then spread out into a very wide area.
Well, actually, and this is the next part of this, which is they say that it didn't happen in one spot. So it was space itself was expanding and it was like blowing up a balloon where every point on the surface moves away from each other as it grows. Every galaxy, every star, every atom would eventually form from the initial burst.
That's what I'm saying. But I'm saying that you're saying that, but my point is that
it had to start somewhere.
There had all of that energy and all of that had to be in one central location.
At the beginning.
In the beginning.
Yes.
So you're saying that the entire universe was comprised in a singular point. And then all of the energy that can't be created or destroyed had to then disperse from this one point.
Yeah.
So you have a universe worth of shit in a point and then becomes the universe.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just saying, it's just like, there's nothing, and energy cannot be created except for it's created out of nothing. That's what I'm saying. Like they agree with things, but then they're like, how does that work?
I hear you.
If they agree, they agree it was nothing, but then they also agree that nothing can exist because it had to have come from something.
Right.
And then also, how does that nothing turn into something?
See, that's what I'm saying. It's a fucking.
If it's nothing,
that's the thing, and everybody agrees that the moment of burst or the moment of
the bang,
whatever, is defying. We haven't figured it out.
Yeah, it's all
like we don't know.
But
how that was caused.
But everybody agrees that there was a bang. There was
some sort
and we
of
know what happened
event.
afterwards, or they say that we know what happened afterwards.
They think. We don't know shit. Fucking
so let's just walk through.
Let's
just walk through what they say occurred. Yeah. The first seconds of the universe were crazy.
Wild
fucking party house. It was like a freak off.
Shit.
Sorry, that was not.
Shit's like on fire.
Yeah. We're talking trillions of degrees hot within seconds. So hot, in fact, that the basic building blocks of matter, which were called quarks and gluons, couldn't even stick together. It was pure energy flying around at nearly the speed of light.
But it's flying around in nothing.
Yeah,
It's just like, where is it flying around? It's just like, where is it going?
But as the universe expanded, it began to cool. And within a tiny fraction of a second, something called inflation occurred. And this was
already?
And tariffs.
Already in tariffs.
This was,
The universe is like 36%. Bitch.
this was a sudden exponential growth spurt. The universe ballooned faster than the speed of light, not breaking any laws of the universe because space itself can expand faster than light moves through it. During the first 3 minutes, things started to settle. Protons and neutrons began to form. These eventually fused into the first atomic nuclei, mostly hydrogen and helium, and the simplest elements in the universe. It would take thousands of years. So the first few seconds and minutes were wild.
Yeah, it's fucking
they were hot,
insanity.
and things got wild. And then it took thousands of years.
And they're chilling out. They're like, ooh.
Yes.
Like these little protons, and we're like, I'm gonna find me an electron.
Yeah.
You want to come over here, baby?
Actually, correct. Yeah. So it took thousands of more years before the nuclei could cool enough to grab the electrons and become actual atoms. So thousands of years before they became actual atoms.
Okay.
During this whole time, light was bouncing off everything, trapped like headlights in thick fog. About 380,000 years after the bang, the universe cooled to a point where atoms could finally form, electrons bonded with nuclei, and suddenly the fog lifted. For the first time, light could travel freely throughout the
But see,
universe.
where is the light coming from? Like light is
Just
photons.
comes from the
like-
band,
but
from the bang.
But where? Like,
I
from the
understand,
from the
but again,
bang.
it all becomes a problem of where it emanated from.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah? Okay.
I'll hold my tongue.
This ancient light is still around today, and it's called the cosmic microwave background, CMB. If you ever tune in old TV to static, part of that hiss is leftover radiation from the Big Bang.
How are they making this statement?
Oh my
How could
God.
they possibly be like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
this is
Ancient-
leftover from the Big Bang.
Channel 86 has about 20% of the Big Bang light.
It's like a blurry titty.
And you're like, damn.
In the 90s, we had a lot of that light in the TV.
Big Bang
Oh
is
yeah,
hot.
baby. Oh yeah, baby. Oh yeah.
But I'm like, how are they making that statement? How can you like honestly be like, okay,
yeah, that's
trust me on this.
So
This happened 13 billion years ago. It's still left over.
So these are
trust me.
ancient photons that are over 13 billion years old,
How do
hitting
they
your
know?
CRT screen. Remember
But
that?
you can't
That's what
fucking,
it was.
like, you can't,
the one
like-
with the big ass
you
TVs.
Oh, yeah.
That also weighs like 8,000 pounds.
Yeah. The CMB is one of the strongest pieces of evidence that the Big Bang actually did happen. Scientists have mapped it to an incredible detail. It shows tiny temperature differences, ripples really, that would eventually become galaxies, stars, planets, and so on. And eventually, Mother Earth.
It's fucking these scientists are full of shit.
Whoo!
Sorry,
So
it's
now,
just- it's like-
now that we've gone 400,000 years forward, you see how we're like, we're progressing. Now that the atoms existed and light could now move freely through the universe, the next act was structure. Gravity began to work its magic. Tiny clumps of matter started pulling in more matter, slowly forming clouds of gas. After hundreds of millions of years now,
So gravity just existed
and started
It just-
pulling in.
Well, now that mass exists, then other mass drives in other mass
There you
eventually. Obviously, when it's really small, it takes like fucking forever.
Yeah.
I know, like this, like,
400,000
infinity.
years.
I love how we last like 80 years.
It's like I barely pulled in life.
Yeah.
Like, let alone
I know.
fucking planets.
It's actually pretty wild. Yeah.
Yeah.
So after hundreds of millions of years, these clouds collapsed under their own gravity and ignited. And those became the first stars.
Well, yeah.
These very first stars were giants, hundreds of times larger than our sun. They lived fast and they died young, kind of like me.
Well, that's like,
Yeah.
That's where you get like I don't know if people know, but like nebulas are the giant gas cloud fucking things in the universe.
Mhm.
That's where stars are created. Stars are created inside of nebulas. They literally create stars, and then they're formed like nowadays. The gas clouds are formed from dying stars.
Yeah.
Dying stars explode, and then they add to the gas cloud, and then they eventually combine back and then make new stars.
Okay.
Yeah. So they lived fast and they died young.
This episode is brought to you by Greenlight. Get this. Adults with financial literacy skills have 82% more wealth than those who don't. From swimming lessons to piano classes, us parents invest in so many things to enrich our kids' lives. But are we investing in their future financial success? With Greenlight, you can teach your kids financial literacy skills like earning, saving, and investing. And this investment costs less than that after-school treat. Start prioritizing their financial education and future today with a risk-free trial at greenlight.com/Spotify. Greenlight.com/Spotify.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
What the fuck? It's like Motley Crue.
They exploded in spectacular supernovas. From these explosions, new elements were then born. Right? So new elements were born from that. Because if you remember, as we progressed through this, there were only a certain amount of elements.
Yeah, it's like hydrogen.
Yeah.
Helium.
There wasn't a whole lot. So now carbon, oxygen, iron, etc., those were then created from the explosions of the original stars.
Isn't it funny? Like, isn't it actually like weird to think that how did other elements come from the original building blocks?
Yeah, it is wild.
Like, how does that
there were only two.
Yeah,
right?
you go from like 2 to 200.
Yeah,
like how the fuck
there
does
were
that
only
happen?
there were only like 2 actually.
I just don't understand how that fucking happens.
But so all of these new elements were then created, and over billions of years, so now we're fast forwarding billions of years, stars then started to group together and they formed galaxies.
See, this is why I think that the timeline's a little skewed.
Okay.
Because it takes so long to like fucking do anything.
Yeah.
It's like, and then just like a hop, skip, and a jump later,
we're talking about billions.
We got Wi-Fi.
Meaning we're talking about minutes. And then all of a sudden we're talking about billions of years, and there's like a gap. Is what you're saying?
No, well, first we started talking about it was up to 400,000 years.
400,000 years for them to be like atom.
Yeah,
like the nuclei got hot enough.
I know, like literally
or cooled down.
And now it's like
down.
now you like fast forward like okay, then it's like a billion years, and you're like, and there's 13x later, we got life. Like like it seems a little
true.
Anyways, let's continue.
So over these billions of years, stars then grouped together, and then the gravity started to form, and then the gravity within their own galaxies, and then all of a sudden you created those galaxies, and that's when the Milky Way was created, and that's our home.
Yeah, but aren't galaxies galaxies are swirling around
something,
a black hole?
Yeah, something.
Theoretically, a black hole is the central point of a galaxy because that's what's keeping.
No, but again, and later on, we're going to go over something that they discovered recently, which is dark energy.
You know what?
And that's 90% of the universe.
You know what I just thought?
And so we don't even know what the fuck is holding everything together.
I just thought of something super crazy, actually.
I like it. I like it already.
So they say like the agreed upon thing is that at the center of a galaxy is a black hole.
Okay.
A black hole, if you want to use like the terminology that they use, a black hole is a singularity. So a black hole, you got this, right? But the universe is still technically expanding, so it's still in motion.
Yeah.
So if a black hole is a singularity, how could it also be moving through space? How can a singularity move through space? Because it's, in essence, a black hole is like manipulating.
Why are
space.
you saying that it moves through space? Because it stays at the center?
The universe is expanding, so therefore it's in motion.
I know, but you're jumping to the end of the lesson.
Okay, sorry.
Because we haven't gone over the expanding part.
My bad.
Right?
Well, okay.
No, I mean...
You did with the balloon analogy.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll continue.
But Einstein is... and not Einstein, but the guy right after Einstein figured out that it was expanding. So we're going to go over that.
Okay,
a little bit.
I'll hold my tongue again.
As always.
So somewhere on the outskirts of it, our sun would then form, and our sun formed about 4.6 billion years ago. And it was surrounded by debris that would go around it, orbit it, and eventually form the planets that
Earth.
we know exactly are eight planets for Pluto.
Oh, no, sorry, Pluto.
Buddy.
It's a rock.
My friend. But that would then keep going around and then form this perfect sphere and then create what we call Earth.
It's also
Tracking?
weird that planets are spherical.
I know.
Like, how does that happen?
I'm assuming because you're just constantly, and it's like
spinning,
rotating, and orbiting.
And you're, I don't. Yeah. Okay, so then I have a couple notes here of what is considered the evidence for the bang.
Yes, please,
Yeah?
God. What is the evidence? What is the evidence?
Yeah. So this is all based on observation, and these are observational clues that they figured out. Right.
Evidence.
Number one is
evidence. I observed.
Number one is the universe is expanding. So in 1929, astronomer Edwin Hubble, and you've probably heard that name, because the telescope was named after him, discovered that distant galaxies are moving away from us, and the farther they are, the faster they move. This suggests that the universe is expanding, meaning it must have been smaller in the past because they're moving away from us.
How do you know they're moving away from us? Shit's like
based on measurements of
how long the light takes to get back to the
based
telescope.
on the measurement of the image that you're seeing. Because if it gets bigger, then it's getting closer. If it's getting smaller, then it's getting further away.
But wouldn't you need like more than like 5 years to like verify that?
Yeah.
Holy shit! It looks fucking smaller to me, brother.
So
it only took 400,000 years for a fucking hydrogen atom to exist.
So his theory is that if you rewound the expansion, you rewind your VCR tape enough, you get to the beginning. The bang.
Okay.
Okay.
Observable evidence. Observable.
Number two, cosmic microwave background. As mentioned earlier, this faint glow from the early universe is like a photograph of the cosmos when it was just 380,000 years old. No other theory explains it better than the Big Bang. But I don't really.
I don't understand it.
I need help. I need help.
Like, it's like a photograph. I'm like, but like we can only see it in static. That's the only way to view
1980s television.
Look, see, it's like a photograph. See this photograph here, boys? This is the universe.
The other evidence is abundance of light elements. The amounts of hydrogen, helium, and lithium in the universe match what the Big Bang model predicts. If the universe had no beginning like this, we wouldn't see the exact ratio of those lights.
Once again, doesn't make any sense to me. Like, so far over my head, I'm like, wait, what? They're like, yeah, the atoms, bro. Of course, duh.
One of the most mind-bending questions is, what was before the bang?
That's my point.
You kind of brought
what
that
the
up,
fuck?
right?
Like, yeah.
Like, what is the truth is that we don't know.
No, we have no idea.
Maybe there was something. Maybe there was nothing. Maybe time itself started with the Big Bang.
Well, I always think the concept of time is kind of irrelevant,
right?
Yeah,
because we've obviously a theory of relativity disproves time being a reasonable measure of anything, because time is relative to how you experience it.
Right.
So it's crazy. It's just like even the concept of like, you know, you have a super busy day at work.
Yes.
And then you're like,
everything
you're fucking
goes by
crushing
super
it.
fast.
And then like the next thing you know, it's like 6 and you're like, what the fuck just happened? But like, you know, if you're just like waiting for something to happen, it's like, oh my God. And it's been like, oh shit, we got a flight. And I'm like waiting. It's been like, it's been 30 minutes. It's been 1 minute.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Some theories suggest that this universe is just one of many.
I subscribe to that.
In a multiverse that bubbles endlessly. Others think the universe goes through endless cycles of expansion, collapse, destruction, recreation, etc.
I subscribe to that.
Yeah.
I mean, if we look at what we know, it's like stars fucking implode, they disperse, new stars are made. I think everything goes through the cycle of creation, thriving, destruction, then like everything does. Our plant life, humans, everything goes through that same cycle. It's like life. Yeah, life is that. All things go through that cycle of existence.
So fast forward to today, the universe is nearly 14 billion years old. It has over 2 trillion galaxies, each have hundreds of billions of stars
or more.
Our own planet is just a tiny speck in an unfathomable, vast ocean of cosmic whatever.
It's so like we're so small, like in the grand scheme, like Earth is like an electron. So imagine like
does it ever make you feel like small
all the time,
like shit? Like
not necessarily.
No,
it doesn't make me feel like shit. It just makes me feel like
no, but
like this, it's
the importance level is low.
No, I think
does that make sense?
Like, yeah, it makes sense. But no, I don't think so.
Yeah.
But it definitely. You're like, no, me either.
Me neither. I saw it on a Reddit post.
I think it puts for me, it puts things in perspective a lot.
Right.
Like, where I think like,
our little game.
Like I'm having problems, and I'm like, well,
even how you just described
really
it in the beginning of this podcast, like that was pretty good scale. Like put it into scale like that of how tiny,
of how big
Earth really is.
But it also, I think it's a good thing that a lot of, I think in our generation now, I think we have a very entitled elitist generation that they're so fucking important, they're so special, and that everyone needs to fucking bow down to how special they are. They're fucking content creators and like all this shit. I'm like, dude, like, stop it.
Us
fucking podcasters.
No, not even. No, not us.
I know.
We
take it with a.
No, because I think we've all been through a lot of situations in our life to like humble us and like, hey, like we're very grateful that we get to do this and we get to hang out and we get to talk shit, and it's awesome. I think it's a privilege that we get to do this. Not everyone can. Yeah. Not everyone can. Fucking have just the time alone to do this. Yeah. Let alone buy the equipment and fucking do it and meet and sweat to death out here. Fucking shit. I don't know how Katie's wearing a sweater. Oh my God. Melting to death.
Well, out there I'm getting eaten alive by bugs.
That's a great point.
Like, I'm going to wear full sleeves. Also, I'm not even that hot.
So,
really smart.
So
get you a beanie.
So I know we caught up to like present day, but the story really isn't over because the universe is still expanding. And strangely, it's speeding up. In 1998, scientists discovered that not only is the universe expanding, it's doing so faster and faster. Like the rate is exponential. That the universe is expanding. Something mysterious is pushing it outwards. And it's not gravity. They called it dark energy.
Well, see, wouldn't it be like? Well, here's the concept though. It's like
it's weird.
If you start moving,
I like the sound of this.
if you
never heard of this.
No, but if you're in space and you flick a rock.
Yeah,
there's no friction. The rock is just gonna move forever. It's just there's nothing impeding it until it runs into something or hits something and diverts. But like momentum is infinite in space.
Sure.
And if you're accelerating, I think the dark matter is like what's accelerating it, because you'll move at the same speed forever.
Right.
Yeah.
Like if I throw something, it'll move at the same speed until it's impeded by something.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe this dark energy is what they're calling the accelerator.
And it might just be a term of something that they don't know. Yeah, like
it's
they
classic,
don't know
classic science. So like, adamantium.
Yeah. And they call it something very ominous. Yeah.
Dark.
But so
evil energy.
What they coined it dark energy, and it makes they discovered, or they say it covers 70% of the universe.
It's like antimatter,
but they don't know what it is, and so this is how they define it, which is dark energy is a mysterious force that makes up about 70% of the universe and is believed to be responsible for acceleration of expansion of the cosmos.
I love how
which is what you were talking about.
I love
right?
how they're quantifying something that's 70% of the universe, but they can't actually.
Mysterious.
We don't know. We can't test it. We don't have a sample, but it's 70%.
So at first glance, you'd be like, "Oh, it's universe gravity." That would maybe because that's not what we knew ahead. Like when we discovered it, but in '98, astronomers observing distant supernova noticed the universe's expansion was speeding up, not slowing down. This implied some sort of repulsive force, and they called it dark energy. It works against gravity. While gravity pulls matter together, dark energy pushes it away.
Yeah, it's a repeller.
Yeah. So it is.
But what is it? Is it like
no
they
one
don't
knows?
know?
They don't
know.
They're making it up.
They don't know.
exactly.
This is what we do in science. Make shit up until you can prove it wrong.
So all we know.
But it's supposed to be science. It's supposed to be fucking proven shit.
No, but
it's supposed to be science.
No, but there's a difference between science and like astrophysics. Because astrophysics is all speculative.
Yeah.
There is no way to quantify. There is no scientific method with astrophysics because
it's kind of like
you
they're
don't
doing.
know. There's nothing. That you can't
It's almost like they're doing measurements, and then if they don't know what something is, then they give it a name.
Yeah, give it a name.
And then right.
Yeah.
And then there you go. So, but there is something that makes up 70% of the universe.
I mean, there's also like you just made a point. Like they even said that it was expanding faster than light. Because space can expand faster than light. But somehow, in all of our measurements, we've quantified light as being the fastest speed in the universe, which is already, once again, disproven by them saying space expands faster than light. Yeah. So
Good
how
point.
can light be the fastest thing ever if you've already said that space is expanding faster than it?
Yeah.
Like
That's a good point.
I've been fucking saying this for years.
Yeah, you have. You have.
But here we are. Then there's also dark matter, and that's a slightly different thing than dark energy, you know? But again, everybody kind of agrees. We know that we don't know 96%.
We know we don't know.
They literally
You know
quantified
you.
it. Yeah.
I know you.
No, they actually quantified it into a percentage. They know we don't know 96% of the universe.
Yeah, I think even Neil deGrasse Tyson was like, we don't know shit. We know nothing. We actually don't know anything.
But so are you going to get into dark matter? Or what?
Not that. No, there's nothing to get into. That's it. It's like we already did it.
You got into dark energy. You said that dark matters also. That's it. Just one line.
It's a similar thing, but different thing.
It's just got its mass that has that's being pushed outward as opposed to gravity, like matter that is being sucked by.
Is it like dark matter? Like dark matter, I think, is in essence like negative matter. It's like It's like the.
It doesn't follow the rules of gravity.
Yeah, it's like
that's the point.
It's the inverse. Well, that's dark energy.
So we're
dark energy.
Are you saying we're like literally Tenet? We're like Tenet. We're reverse.
No, well, he's saying dark. So there's the main force that we know is gravity, which is provable.
Yeah.
So he's saying the inverse of gravity is dark energy.
Okay.
Which is the repulsive force.
That's right.
As opposed to the pulling in force.
Yeah.
That's right.
So then there's matter. And then there's like dark matter,
but then
antimatter, which is like the inverse of matter, which is like negative matter.
But so matter would follow the laws
that
of
doesn't
gravity.
Make me understand it better, but anyways.
Matter.
I'm just trying to give you an overview.
No, you're doing a good job. It's so fucking confusing.
I know. So matter would follow the laws of gravity and be sucked in by gravity. Dark matter would not.
Because it's
that's it.
Well, think of it like a magnet.
So yeah,
you know, like a magnet. There's a plus and minus sign, and so it's like, whereas a thing, you know, there's a pull and push, and so there's always like opposites. Like it's kind of like the concept that we've, you know, throughout history, you get this thing yin and yang. There's like this plus and minus. There's always like there's these opposing forces. There's always like an equivalent. There's always an opposite side to something.
Cool. Yeah, that makes a little more sense.
Yeah. So like that's the theory, is that there's another thing that's on the opposite side of a thing.
But you know what's crazy is that it almost seems like you have laws of the universe,
which aren't laws; they're bullshit. Let's say
let's say we're all let's just say that we're all like we subscribe to these laws. Okay. Yeah. Anytime that it doesn't, they call it dark. Right?
So true.
Like, doesn't it seem like that's
hilarious?
They're like, well, this doesn't subscribe to our.
So it's dark.
Law, so it's dark.
It's dark.
So they're like 96% of this is dark.
So literally it's like all of we know it's all dark.
So it actually leads to the point of like we don't know what we're talking about. Yeah. And so maybe our laws are not fully right.
Well, no, like
or they're right on Earth.
No, they're only that's what I'm saying. Like you only have something that's quantifiable to you. So how can you actually make a law of the universe when you don't know the universe?
Yeah.
So that's why I think the law, them calling it laws, is insane.
Yeah.
It's like finite. They're making it seem like this is completely observable everywhere.
There's nothing that can change it. Yes. The door's closed.
Yeah. There's nothing else. And so that's why I think that's the, like, when you create laws on something you actually can't make a law on, it's the death of advancement.
Yeah.
When you're like, oh, there's nothing. There's nothing.
take that.
So
Yeah,
they
but
stop looking.
also,
They stop looking.
if there's no laws, then you can't have something to go
No, but you
base
can
off of, like try to at least use that to
Dude, that's
figure
why
things
you have
out.
fucking guidelines.
But that's what it is. It's a guideline. These are the guidelines.
Bendable guidelines.
Yeah, these are the
bendable-
fucking guidelines,
Yes.
baby. Like,
Yeah.
until we
It's like jaywalking. I mean,
Look,
no, come on.
look, you can pass if it's a double line.
Yeah.
If it's like, but you can't. It's the guidelines.
Okay. That's
Okay,
what
so
it is.
and then the next section is we're gonna kind of move off of the history and all that sort of thing and go into what does it relate to science and religion.
Oh, here we go. Yeah.
So because
Yeah.
so anytime we talk about how the universe began, we inevitably touch on something deeper, something that science alone can't explain the meaning of. For thousands of years, people have turned to religion to answer the big questions of where did we come from?
Yeah, why are
Where's
How did it all
man?
get started? Yeah.
What's the meaning? Why are we here? What does life mean, etc. So when the Big Bang Theory came along, it wasn't just a scientific revolution. It stirred philosophical and religion.
Oh, 100%. It was inevitable.
Yeah. At first glance, the idea that the universe had a beginning might sound like it clashes with religious beliefs, but the reality is much, much different depending on who you ask. Interestingly, the Big Bang Theory actually aligns with some religious creation stories. For example, the idea that the universe had a definite beginning mirrors the first line of Genesis. And I quote,
Yeah, he's like, yeah, you got it.
"In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth."
Yeah.
For centuries, many scientists believed the universe was eternal, that it had always existed. So when Belgian priest and physicist...
he was a priest and a physicist?
Yeah, I'm going to butcher.
Damn, what a baller.
His name was... it was Jorge's.
It's my cousin.
Well, it was George. It was George with an S.
George with
George
an S.
with an S?
Like George and then S at the end.
Georges?
Jorge's?
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 Gorgeous. Jorge,
Gorgeous.
basically.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
George's? Am I right?
I think it's
Yeah, but
gorgeous.
that's not Spanish.
No, I know.
No.
Yeah, it's French.
So why would you say it's Jorge's?
George's.
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 It's George's.
You give it.
He's George's.
George's. But
I hate it. I hate it.
Lamé.
George's Lamar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, so when Belgian priest and physicist Georges Lemaitre proposed in the 1920s that the universe had exploded from a primeval atom, it was a radical shift, meaning it was a priest who said that it started from an atom.
Oh.
But then how do you dictate that into the sense of like, was it God?
Yeah, he was like, Adam, bitch.
Or was it a God?
Oh, dude. Oh, my God. Eric. Adam and Eve. Adam. Adam. It's a D and a T. But what if it came from Adam?
Motherfucker.
I'm just saying. Like, I'm just saying.
We figured it out.
Solved. Put the stamp on it, boys. We solved this shit.
While some scientists resisted, thinking it sounded too much like creationism, some believed that it to be true and that it was not necessarily created by God and or a God, but it was just a natural spark or bang.
Yeah, but I've had a hard time believing like there's just nothing. And
Creation,
and
a
there's just
cause.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
This episode is brought to you by MeUndies. Underwear drawers are like the Wild West. You never know what you're going to pull out or what shape it's in. So upgrade your collection with the buttery soft comfort of MeUndies. MeUndies' signature fabric is as soft as a warm hug from your favorite sweater. Plus, it's breathable and oh so comfy, making it ideal for all-day wear. Get 20% off your first order, plus free shipping at MeUndies.com/Spotify with code SPOTIFY. That's MeUndies.com/Spotify, code SPOTIFY.
The PC gave us computing power at home, the internet connected us, and mobile let us do it pretty much anywhere. Now generative AI lets us communicate with technology in our own language using our own senses. But figuring it all out when you're living through it is a totally different story. Welcome to Leading the Shift, a new podcast from Microsoft Azure. I'm your host, Susan Ettlinger. In each episode, leaders will share what they're learning to help you navigate all this change with confidence. Please join us. Listen and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
There you go.
Like,
so I don't know. Yeah.
Fucking god damn it.
Still, though, not everyone has embraced the Big Bang. Some religious groups that interpret scripture literally believe the universe is only a few thousand years old.
Okay, that's ridiculous.
Not billions of years old.
That's absolutely ridiculous.
The belief called young Earth creationism directly contradicts the evidence supporting the Big Bang and the age of the universe. So, on the other hand, many people of faith, including entire religious institutions, see no conflict at all. For example, the Vatican has fully embraced the Big Bang theory.
Really?
Calling it compatible with the belief that God created the Bang.
God was the spark of the Bang.
Okay.
That's right. Pope Pius XIII even declared in 1951 that the Big Bang pointed to a divine act of creation of the beginning.
I mean, there's something had to happen. I don't know.
There was nothing.
There was nothing. Someone had to put something there.
Where did God
So there was someone when there was nothing?
And then who created God?
Well, maybe.
That's why he's God.
No, it's so
That's why he's God. There is nobody.
No,
created
God
him.
has always existed.
Yeah.
This
that
is like
the theory?
the next.
Yes.
Is this the next Christopher Nolan
There's
film?
no beginning.
Yeah,
Like,
it
was
is.
just like.
there is no universe.
Sorry.
So think
Coming
of it.
this summer.
Some say think of it like this: if the universe is a masterpiece, science studies the brushstrokes, the chemistry of the paint, and the age of the canvas. Religion contemplates who the artist was, what the purpose was, and the meaning behind the work that was done.
That's actually a really good analogy.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great analogy. Actually.
And it's pretty, right?
Yeah,
Like,
so it's actually
it's like-
it's a beautiful
it's
analogy.
beautiful, yeah. In other words, they're not always at war. They're asking the questions using different tools. Of course, not all thinkers agree. Some argue that invoking a creator stops inquiry, meaning if you go, okay, God created everything from the beginning, then why even continue to research it in the
Well,
first
they're
place?
not continuing to research. I mean, with the Big Bang, same thing. Well, this would happen.
Yeah.
This would happen. No need to like the same concept.
So, and then to put things into perspective, I wanted to give you guys a timeline of how we constantly are changing what we think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I know you know this. You guys have grown up in your schools and, la, la, la. But it's really interesting if you look at it because, like, from a timeline, you go, at some point, we actually thought the Earth was flat. You know what I mean?
You mean like-
and then, like, things progress and then
We
we're like,
are the center of the universe, baby.
Yes, and our thoughts change, our concept of reality changes, etc. So, in 1609, Galileo builds the first telescope. Yeah?
Okay.
First time we looked into the stars.
Killing it.
1687, Newton's laws of motion and gravity. This is the first time we even considered the concept of gravity in 1687.
Okay.
400 years ago. Not very long ago. 1915, Einstein's general theory of relativity. He redefines gravity as the bending of space and time. His math predicts that the universe might be expanding, though he doubted it himself.
Well, he was like, I don't know if I can believe this shit. What am I even saying?
1929, Edwin Hubble himself observed he was the one who discovered that it was expanding.
Okay.
Yeah, just a few years later from Einstein. 1965, the cosmic microwave background that we still can't figure it out. That happened. 1990, the actual Hubble telescope was launched. This orbiting telescope gives us the clearest images of the cosmos to date, revealing galaxies billions of light years away, and we realized how small we were.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. 1998, the discovery of dark energy.
Well, not really discover. I mean, just more like the
statement.
The statement of dark, the statement of dark energy.
That's when they proposed that the universe was expanding.
Okay.
2004 to even present, mapping the early universe with satellites, missions like WMAP and Planck created detailed maps of the cosmic microwave background, letting scientists see the universe 400,000 years after the bang. 2016, gravitational waves were then detected a century after Epstein.
After Epstein.
Damn.
A century after Epstein.
A century after Einstein predicted them, scientists detected ripples in space-time from colliding black holes, and it was a new way to observe the universe when it was born.
But how are they even seeing ripples in space-time? Like, define a ripple in space-time to me.
Well, we need somebody with a little bit more expertise than me on that to like give you that.
You see that, boys? That's a ripple in space-time right there.
In 2022, the James Webb Space Telescope launched. Its powerful infrared vision begins peering back into the first galaxies that were ever formed, helping us understand the dawn of time and the dawn of stars.
What was the name of that again?
James Webb Telescope.
James Webb. Yeah, that's right.
Yep. And I'm just trying to tell you that within 100 years, our concept of everything changed. Right? From Einstein to
but not really
gravity. Newton, okay, 150 years.
Okay.
Right? All I'm trying to like prove or say with that is what are we going to know in 150 years from now?
I mean, if we keep looking, that's the only thing. It's like my fear is that like it's if you look, it's so hard to change the scientific community's mind about anything.
Yeah.
Because what they do is like they have a statement gets made and then you start basing all science off that statement. And you stop looking into ulterior things because you're basing everything off of one thing.
Especially if they use laws.
Yeah, you're basing it off a law.
Yeah.
It's like, so what if our concept of gravity is actually wrong? Like, so I'm not saying that gravity does exist. Gravity is a fact. But what if gravity isn't as finite as we think it is? Where it's like, oh, okay, gravity is only based off the mass and that, but what if it's different?
Yeah.
I don't know. But like, will they ever look for that? Because they've already, it's a law now.
Yeah.
They got the law, they got the laws, and this is what it is.
No, absolutely. So you guys now ready to get into the, I don't want to call them conspiracies, but theories and or conspiracies of it. Yeah, because there are some.
Sure. Let's do it.
Okay. So here's the claim. The Big Bang is pushed by the scientific establishment while alternative cosmological theories are deliberately ignored or suppressed.
This actually goes right to my point that I just made.
Who believes this? Some proponents of rival theories like the steady state theory, plasma cosmology, or electric universe theory. These groups argue that the Big Bang is flawed or even just a dogma. They believe scientists who challenge it are blacklisted from funding or publication. Peer-reviewed science welcomes debate, but ideas must be supported by observable evidence. So far, alternatives haven't explained key observations as well as debunking the Big Bang model. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Makes sense.
Theory.
It's like,
that's just like a scientist being mad, like saying that's not the right science.
Yeah.
It's not a big thing.
I mean, I say it's not the right science.
Yeah. Another one is the Vatican created the Big Bang to support.
Okay. I'm sorry.
So here's the theory. Here's the theory: is the Big Bang theory was promoted by the Catholic Church to align science with Genesis.
I'm okay, sure, I guess.
Meaning God created it all as one big incident.
Yeah, but I mean, why would you that? It's not. You're taking something that's like very unproven, unbelievable, and then like God. I just don't think it really is like super supportive, really.
Yeah,
and I think it.
I think it is because it
narrative.
It aligns with like God and how everybody always questions like, okay, well, where's the proof? Where's the proof of this God or whatever? Yeah. Well, if you kind of tie it to something that is more widely accepted already, like this Big Bang theory, it just kind of you're kind of like riding on this, trust.
Like the science wave. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. I get that. I can actually get that. But also, I think one of the beauties of religion is like the leap of faith and the trust.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's like we don't know, and that's the thing. It's like you don't know, but you for yourself decide what is your truth.
Yeah, and
then you take that leap of faith, and that's your belief system.
Yeah,
because even though they're like saying the Big Bang thing, that's not provable. It's not.
Right.
So it's not a provable.
Well, I mean,
it's the same. Maybe you're actually right because it's the same concept as religion because you're just taking a leap of faith, believing that this is what happened.
Right.
So maybe it is the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I think because it aligns and you kind of pull from this trust that everybody already has on this Big Bang Theory that, okay, that's what happened, but this is why it happened or how it happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, there's a theory. Another theory is that it never happened, and NASA.
I love this theory.
And NASA, it's a NASA hoax.
NASA scam.
Yeah,
It's like the moon landing.
and it's
like...
a pseudoscience of physicists.
But what are they saying? Okay, that the universe always existed, but see,
It's
even
just always been there.
That, it's existed forever. There's always
there's
everything.
got to be a start.
Yeah, there's something has to begin.
But it does come, and the source of this is from similar circles of flat Earth circles. You know what I mean? Here's the idea: is that the Big Bang, like evolution or whatever, is part of a fabricated worldview meant to distance people from religion and kind of move away from religion and say it's just all science and we're all here randomly. And there's no purpose of humanity.
Okay,
there's no purpose of Earth.
I don't like that. I don't. It's the same. It's the same thing that happened when they did the whole evolution theory. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, you're fucking. We're from mud, and we're like from nothing.
We're a monkey.
Yeah, we're monkeys. Yeah. We're not shit. Yeah. See, I always hated that because, like, I don't know what the truth is, and I don't think anyone knows what the truth is. But I think that religion is an important foundation in life, for the sense that. Not even for the sense of knowing what your purpose is, but knowing that, like, hey, it's good to be a good person.
Yeah.
And that's why I think the basis of religion came from is like, no one will obviously know, but this is what we believe, where we came from. But the whole purpose really of religion is to instill values, certain values, and every religion does this, instill certain values and morals to live your life by. Because if you live life, like, trust me, if you live life with thinking there's no purpose, you're going to be a piece of shit. Like, there's no purpose to anything. Why am I doing anything? Why are we... Right. Who cares if I do something bad? No one gives a shit. Nothing matters. It just gets fucking shitty.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you know, nothing matters. Like, that's when people start, like, shooting people because they're like, fuck it. Who cares? Nothing matters anyways. Yeah. What's the point? Mm-hmm. Might as well go kill Bob because he was a dick to me.
The other theory is CERN.
Oh, wait, what?
Yeah.
What is it?
It's CERN.
Which is the particle collider.
The particle collider. And it was a Big Bang reset. So the CERN Large Hadron Collider is
Hadron
Collider. Collider is trying to recreate the Big Bang, and it's just doing it constantly to reset civilization or the universe.
Yeah, that's nuts. That's ridiculous.
CERN causes a timeline shift or Mandela effect
that was
by tampering with the fabric of the universe, and they're opening portals to other dimensions, trying to reverse engineer the Big Bang. Some say that CERN triggered a mini Big Bang in 2012 with the Mayan calendar resetting.
Yeah.
And the world actually ended, but we didn't realize it.
So real quick again, like, just go back for a second. You were saying, like, this thing caused the Big Bang, or it's going to cause a new one?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
so imagine you're like a really bad guy. You're like the bad guy of all the bad guys.
Mm-hmm.
You're like,
got it,
Dr. Doom.
Uh-huh.
I don't fucking
like
know.
Evil.
Yeah. And you're like, every now and again, you want to reset civilization.
Every now and then, okay.
Right? Like, I guess that's the concept of the CERN reset, is that every now and again, you're like, let's just wipe them out because, like, I'm done.
But the thing is, like, but you're not wiped out?
No, yeah, you're immune to it.
Yeah, but somehow, since you're doing it, you're like, I'm unaffected by the wipeout.
You're God. But
that's actually why I don't subscribe a lot to the big major genocide apocalyptic things, because
why
the bad guys are going to be affected.
Yeah, you're
by
also
it
like
too.
negatively affected as well.
You know the whole theories of like there's bad guys trying to make, I don't know. Like, even COVID was actually a tough one for me to wrap my head around, because how are they not going to be, like, why would you, how stupid of a plan is that you're releasing a major disease?
Well, I think
But what about your children and your grandchildren and your cousins and your friends and you know what I mean?
No, but
Like,
I think for them, see what happens, and most people don't like look at it this way, but like most people who are doing, if you look at everyone who's doing what we may consider bad things, well, not everyone, a lot of people who do quote unquote bad things, they're doing it for in their universe, a good purpose. I rob a bank.
In their world, in their view.
I rob somebody, I'm doing it to feed my family, hypothetically. Or it's like, hey, like I bomb this country, it's to save my country and save my countrymen. So I'm gonna bomb them to save my people. Yeah. So like in their mind, it's for a good purpose.
Yeah, so the bad guy never thinks he's the bad guy.
Yeah, so that's why I think with the COVID thing, I think it's all part of this cabal. Like, oh, the planet's overpopulated. Which is actual fucking bullshit. I mean, this planet can probably sustain 20 billion people.
At least.
But you didn't answer my question. So is this thing supposed to be the cause of... I didn't catch that. If it was supposed to be the cause of the Big Bang or creating a new one?
All of them. Many of them.
No, he's saying like...
Yeah.
It obviously didn't cause the original Big Bang. It's impossible.
But it's a reset theory.
Okay.
So...
in essence, you're creating a new universe. Creating a new Big Bang, you create a new universe.
Yeah. Didn't this thing also create some fucking dark matter or some shit?
Well, that's the concept. Is that when they're colliding these particles going very close to the speed of light, that they're making miniature black holes and like potentially creating antimatter,
dark energy.
Well,
dark matter.
Well, see, that's the concept.
He says it was such a verb.
Like if you destroy, like if you're actually able to collide these atoms and destroy that matter, what you get is antimatter, because there is something that is like dark matter, which is the inverse of actual matter. Yeah, you're getting an antimatter.
I'm pretty
sure.
And
what's the inverse? It sucks in other matter. Is it?
No, it fucking. It's like the
repellers. Repellers. That's right. You'd explain
because
that.
If you look at an atom, right? An atom has a nucleus which is holding everything in place, and the electrons are flowing around it, and it's a stable fucking. It's everything is being combined, connected. Whereas the inverse is explosion,
dispersing, sending out.
Exactly.
Got it. Yeah. Okay.
So that's why they think antimatter, like if you were able to, they even did it in fucking Angels and Demons. Yeah. It's like if you're able to actually quantify antimatter, it's like when antimatter,
you have a weapon.
When antimatter combines with real matter, it just creates destruction.
Yeah.
It's literally like fucking blow up. Like it takes all the atoms and blows them all up.
Okay.
But I think the CERN thing would be like, hey, you have a weapon to where if you wanted to reset everything, you can press the button.
But it doesn't work that.
I know. I know. That's a theory.
It's insane.
But I think that's the theory where if you're the real big bad guy and you're like, I hate everything now.
You're like, fuck it.
Press the button.
Reset,
and it's another big.
They got a really good case against me.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyways, that's that theory.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Another theory. And you guys are going to love the fuck out of this one. The Big Bang is a distraction, a false trail meant to cover up the real origins of the universe, which was created by an alien civilization.
But where'd the civilization live before they created the universe?
It's the universe that we know.
And
we live in a simulation, and the Big Bang was simply the boot up.
I don't know what the boot up.
Like you
turned
your
on
computer.
the game.
Oh, they're like, oh yeah, like it's like Windows 98.
Yes.
This is
And so we're all in the simulation, and somebody pressed the button to turn it on, and that was the Big Bang.
I mean,
everybody's like rubbing their face and like,
sure.
You started to have me at aliens, and then you lost me. I like the aliens, and then and then I'm out.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
no.
Okay.
I mean, I get the theory, but no.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go. I mean, there are some far-fetched ones, some what we'll call them like
fringe
conspiracies.
My favorite word, fringe.
Yeah. One of them is it's a like an occult kind of scenario, Illuminati. Everything goes back to Illuminati.
Of course.
They created everything, or Freemasons, where that promoting that the Big Bang was over God's creation is seen as a larger agenda to undermine faith and again lose religion.
Yeah, I can see obviously there's always been this battle between science and religion.
And evolution compared to
being a
to
huge
faith.
battle.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, like I do think that evolution as a concept is actually super plausible and makes sense.
Yeah.
But it doesn't debunk religion.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean religion is like a fallacy, because I think that we obviously, like, our bodies are very complex organisms, and they're very in that something this complex, it's either it's A, engineered to be this perfect, or B, you need millions of years of death, trial, and error before it builds itself up. Because look at a plant, like certain plants, like a weed. It's like, okay, this isn't working. I need to adapt to survive in this environment. Right. They adapt over X amount of years. They adapt to live and survive in certain environments.
Yeah.
And that's just the way that things work. So I don't think that necessarily like debunks religion. Like, I don't necessarily believe it was like, oh, God came down and was like, I made man, But I do subscribe to the point that, like, okay, like, we are spiritual entities, and there is a spirit, like, there is a driving force behind, like, the body. I don't believe that we're we're just this. We're just this meat sack with a skeletal system and brain and shit. I do believe that there's an energy that is powering us.
Okay.
And that, there's some sort of higher power that created that.
Sure.
But not necessarily created like humans.
I'm tracking with you. So, in relation to the Big Bang Theory, in the creation of the universe, in the beginning of it all, where are you guys at?
Who's going to go first?
I can go first because I don't have that much, because I gotta tell you,
like, I don't fucking know.
Shit,
It's like,
fucking,
at first
we got
was
Sean the physicist next to me.
Also,
what the fuck?
Also, did you learn?
I get schooled by
anything?
Sean. Yeah, I get fucking schooled by Sean. Like, every single time we do one of these, like, he just
I like
you break
science,
it, yeah,
bro.
and you get it and you understand it. Still super complicated though, so it's like really hard to.
There's still some things that don't like. We can talk about it, but it's hard to get reality of. I guess understanding what.
I don't think
really
that
means.
there was a nothingness and all of a sudden there's a somethingness and like that whole
Really?
first part that we went over.
Because it's a bit of a chaos.
There is, and I do agree
right?
with that
Like,
chaos, but not from nothingness to somethingness or something like that. I subscribe more to the idea of like this supreme, being, like a god or something,
An entity,
we'll call it that helped create that spark, create that
So
initial
one dude.
Yeah, I think
I'd like to meet this guy.
I know.
Guy or girl.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it's androgynous. Like, I don't think it's like
That's the only
it's
thing.
like a fucking astral dick in the fucking universe. Like, it
doesn't have to be a guy.
I think it's just a thing. It's not like a fucking.
If we rewind everything, because right now everything's in motion, right? In this universe and space and whatever, right? It's in motion, but at one point there was no motion. Well, then something had to put it into motion.
Very true.
And that's kind of how I see it. And obviously I don't have the fucking answer, like who, what, or, who and all that.
Yeah.
But I just think, in that general sense, it's like this supreme person.
Okay.
Yeah.
Some god.
That's the only thing that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I don't want to call it godlike, but it's something.
Yeah, and especially because I don't know a lot of
out of our
realm.
understanding, out of our understanding realm.
Yeah.
And especially because that, like, I don't know. I don't know a lot of this fucking physics shit that like Sean knows and shit like that. So like maybe to him, and we'll hear what he says, but like he has way better explanations in that world. But to me, without all that, like that's the best way I can explain it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I think that science and religion are in the same vein. Obviously, like the two things are just meant to quantify to understand, like to bring some sort of knowingness to what things are, like why we're here. That's the whole point. The purpose of science is like why do things do what they do,
and how
exactly. That's the whole purpose of science, to understand what happens and why. And I think
logical with math and like
and you're
provable.
Trying to quantify it. You're trying to quantify it down to like, okay, what can we prove and what can we understand? And I think that religion is in the same exact vein, but it's obviously not using scientific method to do it. It's using faith. It's a different purpose, but they're all the same exact thing. So I do believe that everyone's on the same exact page. There's different. They're like in a different book.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Same page, same reason, same. They're trying to figure out the same shit. So I do believe that there was some higher echelon entity that was like, okay, we're gonna put this into motion.
Okay.
Now, where that entity came from, what was there before?
Because this is supposed to be the beginning.
I don't know, but see, that's why
entities.
That's why I think like the whole concept of the universe being
because we don't know.
I know. Yeah,
like it's entity. Like you can't prove it. You can't.
Sure.
Yeah, you can't quantify it. You can't.
Yeah.
Anything. So
yeah, I think that there are multiple universes. I think that we are just one of many. And I think that.
So this possibly is the simulation one.
No, I don't necessarily think it's a simulation
just
one. I think
parallel.
It's
okay.
Or
not even parallel, just different.
Yeah.
Just different universes. Just different things like, and the reason I think that is because I think that it's so hard to explain, like in like layman's terms. It's like hard to like put it into like words, but I think of like
us plebes,
us peasants won't get it.
No, but I think like everyone has the.
You won't get it. Let me just end off with that.
You know what? I'm gonna end it off with you wouldn't understand.
You wouldn't understand.
I'm talking to a bunch of idiots.
Join the Patreon.
Pay me money.
No, but I do think that there was a driving force behind it, and it wasn't like some random fucking nothingness creation.
Yeah,
I think there was some sort of driving factor that had to put things into motion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Something had to.
Yeah.
What that is, I have no fucking idea.
Yeah.
But something did.
Yeah.
And I also think it was much longer than 13 billion years.
Okay. Yeah.
Much, much, much longer.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Much longer.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm thinking more in like the trillions.
Okay.
Damn. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What the fuck do you think, Eric?
I'm gonna throw out a
wild card?
A wild card here. Yeah.
Alien
surprise.
Alien surprise.
I don't think time has a beginning. So I think the game has been going on before it. And
Okay, so there was no start?
No. I don't think there is a start.
This is. It just exists.
Do you know what I mean? Like yes, we could say there's a big bang and something happened, and sure, that might be real.
Okay.
But it doesn't mean that was the beginning of time.
No, yeah.
There was something else before it.
Well,
but back to Sean's thing, like time is just relative.
Yeah,
so when you say
that's what I'm saying.
time, are you
Time
talking
is
about
relative.
years or you're just talking about like the timeline?
The timeline.
Yeah. Okay.
Like meaning there could have been a whole other game that was happening before it.
Yeah, like there's all. That's why I subscribe to the multiple universes. I think this is just another iteration.
Yeah,
another iteration of like
this
the thing
is
that's been going on time immemorial.
Yeah,
like
this universe is that, and I don't think time has a beginning, middle, or an end.
I like that.
It's just constant. It's a constant.
Yeah.
Because even if
so whatever that means, you know what I mean.
I kind of like that because even if it all fucking blows up today, it doesn't mean that it stops. Like time, it keeps going. Something else is going to happen.
I mean, we've known it in our own lives that, like, you know, I mean, you know, when you end, life continues.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So when I end, life will continue. You guys will go on.
But there's also remember,
you know what I mean?
I think we talked about this on the time travel episode. Is like, what is time?
Yeah.
Time is just motion through space. So if there's no motion, there's no time.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean there's no life or no fucking consciousness.
Yeah.
But there's no time. Yeah. Because there's no motion.
Okay, but on that point, then the Big Bang Theory says that there was no motion.
There was
at
a
one
moment.
point.
No, it was a moment. Like
No, my point is like, okay, let's say you go back to this universe doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if there's no motion in this universe, no nothing, that means there's no time because time is just motion through space.
Okay.
That's how time is quantified, motion through space.
I see what you're saying.
But it doesn't mean that there's no consciousness.
Right.
It doesn't mean there's no awareness, there's no consciousness.
Correct, yeah.
So therefore it's before time, but doesn't mean that like there's no awareness that's like happening there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So therefore it's like time is like that's okay, time cool, but there could have been awareness before time, before there was motion in space.
Okay.
That's the only way we quantify
I guess that's
time.
my theory, which is that there is no beginning, middle, end for time.
Right.
So why is Big Bang the beginning?
Yeah.
Meaning there could have
been a whole other thing. There's a whole other thing happening.
Whole other thing. Yeah.
That's cool. I like that.
Okay. Yeah.
So
So there you go, guys. I don't know. You know, there's so much theory and deep dives and weird, and you could get fucking drunk and go on tangents and whatever. But I don't know. You know, and if you believe that maybe a supreme being, I don't disagree with you. Right? Where there was some powerful entity that maybe created the bang,
yes,
and then the new universe, and then whatever.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But I just don't want to like count out the fact that there could have been earlier.
Yeah, no, that's very good point.
Yeah. So
by the way, we're getting ready to record a little mini episode after this. So
yeah.
Cool little time to plug in our Patreon. So Patreon members get access to this mini that we're about to do.
All the minis.
That's right.
All the minis.
That's right.
When you join, you get access to how many we got in there?
14 now.
There you
I
go.
think we're 14.
I thought we had more.
I think we're give or take.
Well, we're gonna do a lot more for you guys.
Yeah.
What's time? What's time anyways?
No, we're really trying to push and pump out more content for our Patreon. So we're gonna try to do 1 or 2 a month. So by the end of the year, we should be at like 30 or 40. Brand new, minis content, for you guys. So
because we really do appreciate you guys. Like we harp about it a lot, but it's this is the podcast game is not like this isn't the cash grab game.
Tough racket.
It's not like this isn't like, oh, I made a quick little Amazon company and I'm like rich. Yeah, this is like we're not making like the big bucks over here, guys. Like we're doing this because it's fun and we love it and like we like hanging out and we like interacting with you guys.
Yeah, so when you join, you're supporting us.
Yeah, you're
keeping this going.
Really, like literally, without the patrons, this podcast would not exist anymore.
Yeah, it's true.
We would have stopped at episode like 40.
Yeah,
like, we would have been dead. Like,
also, just to give you guys some teasers, we got some great episodes coming up. Been putting a lot of work into the assassination of Abraham Lincoln and the conspiracy. There's literally a conspiracy where people were hanged.
Ooh.
Like they're called the conspirators.
Oh.
It's like I can't. I actually, when I dived into it more, I was like, how have we not done this?
Talked about this.
Literally, like people were hanged for being conspirators of killing Abraham Lincoln.
Oh, that's gonna be good.
It's a fantastic series.
That's gonna be good.
We will have Daniel Day-Lewis on the
Oh my
podcast.
God. We've got, I also have Pearl Harbor.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God, there's so much. There's so many good ones.
We do have 9/11 in the
We have
works.
9/11 coming up.
We're gonna do COVID. Like,
God.
we're gonna fucking do like.
True.
What's crazy is when we started the podcast, I was like, man, we got like 50
ideas possible.
Yeah, like maybe like
we're gonna hit a wall.
Yeah, and I
There's
realized like,
infinite,
dude,
bro.
we have like hundreds.
Yeah.
Hundreds, like absolutely.
There's so many
hundreds.
great stories, so many great mysteries, and we're gonna bring them all to you, and we're gonna do our best to tell it in a great story, and it's gonna be awesome.
And you know, and look, like we're not trying to be anything other than ourselves. And I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, you know? Like, you may listen and you're like, oh, you know, these guys are being insensitive, or they're not, you know, why are they talking about bad stuff and like laughing and like having a good time?
Oh, yeah, we've got a lot of that.
But look, this is me and my two best friends. And like, if I can't fucking laugh and have a good time while like losing money, you know, like, then why the fuck am I doing this?
Yeah.
Like, what's the fucking point? So, like, don't judge us off that.
Mainly Sean.
Come on. I know, mostly me, because everyone fucking clearly hates me.
Yeah.
But anyways.
No, but overall, we try to bring the cool stories and teach everybody what those stories are, and then you can decide what's a conspiracy and what's not.
Yeah, and
I think that's I think that's our overall purpose, right?
I think it's my thing is I feel like we're always told what to believe. We're told what's true.
Yeah.
And like you never really get to decide for yourself because you're fucking constantly told this is what it is. Everyone's fucking telling you what to do.
Yeah.
Make your own fucking decision. Question everything.
There you go. Mm-hmm. And don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review.
Yeah. Good review only. God damn it.
Last plug. I swear, I know we 4 minutes.
17 plugs.
Yeah. We need Apple reviews.
Oh yeah.
Go in there. If you don't listen on Apple, just go in there, listen to you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Leave a review on Apple. We're mainly Spotify focused, so we have a major following on Spotify. We would like to expand into Apple, so get in there, leave a review, and tell us what you think. Yeah,
we love you guys, and obviously we'll see you next week because we're never fucking gonna stop.
We're never going away.
Yeah. Nighty night. Hey guys, it's us again. You ever heard of Patreon? Because we just started one. Exclusive content, Discord, which I'm still figuring out. But but you know, we get to talk.
You can suggest new episodes or just let us know something that we already talked about and you want to get in on the conversation. We're there for you.
We're also coming out with shirts and other merch.
There are 2 ways you can sign up for exclusive content. The first is through Spotify. There's a link in our profile description that links you to the Spotify premium page. And that's only $2.99 a month. And it gets you an ad-free experience and it gets you extra episodes that come out every month. The other way is through our Patreon. All you got to do is go to Patreon and search The Conspiracy Podcast and you'll find us. There are many different levels there, all giving different amounts of content.
Yeah, because guys, this really does help us. You know, we do this virtually for free. So help us help you enjoy yourselves.